Hey ladies and gentlemen, I am freezing in the shed, but I cannot wait to learn the knapping skills. So we recently just got the unboxing. If you missed it, go check it out on the channel. It was the latest video. Pulitzer Opal sent me an incredible package. You can see the tools that were in it just here on the screen. So I've got those just off to the side. I'm such a beginner that I don't even know the names of a single one of these, other than this one I would guess is a bit of a grinding stone, like a whetstone. And this is a hammer stone, which is written on the stone itself. Now, like I said, of course, this is thanks to Pulitzer Opal, who has been incredible. I'm still going backwards and forwards with him on email, so the support hasn't even ended. I was, it's incredible that he's going to help me out like this. Sheila, of course, is involved. Paco, Hopper, and Touchy. Hopper's my favorite, but his cats. And yeah, we've got heaps to do. So starting off was a few of the Facebook comments that I got, because I can't believe it. Like, I'm amazed that Pulitzer's helping me as much as he is, but I'm also amazed and always happy when I get reminded that the internet is actually a great place when there's great people on it. So I'm not going to show every comment. I'm just going to show a couple of the more detailed ones. So Stephen got back to me real quick after the upload, and he's got the copper slapsticks. So there he's talking about these ones. And then I was right. This is an antler, or at least I think I called it a horn or something, but yeah, like a deer antler. It's got a pointy end and a flat end. Basically, the pointy end of this is used for the same kind of thing as the copper end of this. A few people have said this as well, and I'm pretty confident that they're correct. Basically, this antler that you can see here and this hammer stone, that's like the Stone Age primitive man way to do it. And then these are the more modern tools. So these copper little tools that are basically like little hammers, and then the copper nail kind of point thing that's going to be doing all that little flaking and chipping to get ourselves that nice arrowhead look. These are just some platforms or edges, so you just hold the stone up against it like I thought, and you just chip into it. So it just helps absorb some of the shock and hopefully keep some of the shards from flying out everywhere. I mean, I'll be wearing safety glasses anyway and gloves, but it's good to know. So another comment that was pretty detailed was from Michael here. So he just said to, do the classic YouTube, which I am going to do. I've got a couple videos up the top there ready to go. Basically, the pointy ones, pressure flakers, the other tools. I love the name that he brought up for these copper ones. So the copper boppers, that's what I'm going to call them. And then, this is actually a fair point. He did point out that the double end, so this one can be for all that little chipping and flaking and whatnot, but this end could be used as like the hammer, kind of like the copper or the hammer stone, and you could actually just smash down with that antler. I don't really want to, because I don't know how strong antlers are, but I mean, it feels a bit like wood, and I do worry that I'm going to break it, and I don't want to break a single one of these tools or damage them at all, because they mean a lot to me now, and I haven't even started using them. Just how I got them means a lot to me, so I'm going to be pretty careful about that one and just go with the hammer stone. It's called a hammer stone for a reason. I'll use that to hammer the big stone. And then Pigeon pointed out something that I hadn't even thought of yet, other than mimicking some of the other things like the antler. But he talks about the whole preform thing, which is interesting. The most interesting thing I thought when I read this comment is that he's got these names, like my favorite point style is the beaver tail. I had in my mind that an arrowhead was either like wide or thin, like narrow or fat, or I was just thinking small, big, wide, skinny, fat, that kind of thing. But apparently there's a lot of different arrowheads. I've had a quick look. There's a lot of different styles. I'm literally just going to try to mimic what Pulitzer does on most of his ones. They seem to be a fairly consistent shape and size. Once I get one shape nailed, we'll start looking into other shapes. So I also got some messages on Facebook. Of course, I'm open Facebook, the website, anywhere. Send me a message and eventually I will see it. Some I check more than others, but I managed to catch Peter. Peter sent me a couple messages post this as well. But yeah, he's just saying he's a flint napper, and I've got some good chert and flint to start off with, which is good. I should be able to get something out of it. So yeah, the hammer stone and deer antlers are the Stone Age style, and then the copper tools are more the modern day. So I think I will start off with the modern day, because hopefully they're better. And then he said one thing that I had never thought of. This whetstone style tool here, this just coarse little block, he says it's used to rough up the edge before striking. So I'm not sure what that does, but he's also got a YouTube link there that goes to Will Lord. Will Lord came up a lot in people's messages to me, so we are going to have a look at him. I've already got his channel loaded up in the top there. So apparently he's really good, so I'll check that out. If he's an expert in it, then yeah, by all means, anything like that will help. And then there's Mike. Mike's appeared on the channel before because he sent over a few things, so he's sent me a couple links to some things, and yeah, it's incredible to get so much help and support. And you can see here in one of the videos, the video that is linked, they've actually got very similar looking copper boppers and a little antler and another antler there. So I think it is on the right track. I'm gonna have to check out that video as well. But for now, let's jump back to Pulitzer. So Pulitzer Opal, I've opened up this how to make an arrowhead, so we'll quickly go through that and I'll just trim it down to parts that I find interesting. But he's also got this short that's only 38 seconds, so we'll start off and check that one out. So that's a really nice looking arrowhead, Opal of course, which is the dream, but we'll start off with Flint. And see, you can see there, that's the exact same pad as what I've got just here. So it's got the wooden back, it's got that little channel in the middle, so you're basically just holding the stone across that and just chipping straight into it. And you can see that Pulitzer doesn't even have gloves on, so maybe it's not actually that bad and not that sharp, but it's basically glass. We're just chipping away at glass. So I think I am gonna, as long as I get good enough control, I'll still be able to wear gloves. And yeah, you're just kind of pushing at that angle into the pad. Hopper. I've seen enough of his videos to recognize each cat as it pops up. So yeah, and then you just kind of trim away at the edge, which looks like he's not using a copper tool. That looks like it's steel or something. So yeah, not much description going on in that short, but it is a short and I've recorded a few. It's very hard to get any information in a 60-second or less video. So we'll move on to his more detailed video.
Don't be a flint napper.
All right, well that's a terrible start to a video. Don't be a flint napper. All right, ignore that. Scrap that first 2 seconds.
And I know that you will listen to me this time because most people don't want to be a flint napper.
I guess I'm just not most people, and hopefully there's a few people watching the video that would also like to learn, so...
I've been asked by you guys dozens of times to make a video on how to make opal arrowheads. I understand opal arrowheads are cool, but what you don't know is that to make an arrowhead, you have to know how to do flint knapping. And flint knapping, believe it or not, is extremely difficult to learn. I think it's more difficult than learning how to cut opal. A great majority of people have absolutely no interest in flint knapping. Over the years, hundreds of people have watched me make arrowheads, and only 2 of them have ever asked me, hey, can I give that a try?
5mm kind of slice.
You cannot flake cortex. Flint has cortex. It's an outer rim. It's more defined in flint, and that's why it's called a cortex. This is the second piece. I can't help but think that it reminds me of an alligator. So the final result has a nice, smooth, curved surface, both sides, and it's ready to flake. This is my flaking pad. It's got a steel layer there. This is what most modern naps use, something like this. This is a copper bar which is hammered flat. Some people don't hammer them flat, they just use them round, and you bring that to the edge of the preform and you push in and then push inward, then you pop down like that. I happen to use this soft steel flaker.
Instead of having a square,
the next flake, and I'll get the tip. So that's one side that's flaked. Yet, but the color that I wanted to preserve is there near the top.
Yeah, that second one's real nice.
Nice long lines of color.
I think I get the idea of what he's doing for that part. I wish he showed the notch bit a little bit more, but...
If I wanted to take off a flake from right here, the way I'd do it is I'd turn it upside down and I'd hit here. When I strike down on it, the force vector, the force goes at a 107-degree angle to the way I'm doing it. So in other words, I drew the circle and everything went exactly where I put it. But when I'm trying to knock a flake off of, you're not actually seeing what you're doing. It's happening at an angle to what you're doing. It's like almost like drawing or doing something in a mirror.
So he's done a really good job there of trying to explain something fairly tricky. I don't know how I would put it either, even though I've got a degree in physics, which is why I'm kind of getting an idea with the force vector side of things. You are just kind of hitting it on that right angle and hoping. I mean, it's still going to be a little bit of hope that it just shatters in that correct direction. And you can't see it because it's on the opposite side of where you're striking. So that is tricky. That, I think, is going to be one of the harder parts. All right, so now moving on from Pulitzer, who I think has given me a lot of detail. I've just loaded up Will Lord's YouTube channel, and this is intense. So I've never come across his channel before. Prehistoric Survival. He looks like he's just teleported straight across from the Stone Age somewhere. So incredible. He's got 100,000 subscribers and almost 300 videos. I've just chucked in the search for the arrowhead, and once again he's got a little short here, so 59 seconds, so he's just snuck that one in, and then a making of a flint arrowhead. So I'm going to check out those two videos, and yeah, we'll see what Will Lord is like, because before I did this search, if I just go to videos, you'll see that he's got a lot of random, very different stuff, but he does a lot of stone tools. I got to say, just scrolling through his page, it's wild. I definitely want to check out some of these non-flint knapping kind of videos as well, because it's pretty cool what he's looking at. It's very, very old school. So let's see how old school he is at making his arrowheads. Starting with the short.
Hi guys, welcome into my earth lodge. Let's do some knapping and make an obsidian arrowhead. Something like this.
Looks cool. Yeah, so that's obsidian. I've actually got obsidian, and I've already got it in slices, slabbed up kind of, because I used that in the past for some doublet making, and I've still got some left. I've ditched doublets for a while, but I do need to get back to it. And here, like, this is a massive piece, and he must be preparing it just to split. And he's rubbing a stone to like blunten the edge. I reckon that's exactly what that previous comment at the start of the video was talking about. So for some reason that makes the snap better, and I can see this guy's wearing a lot of leather. I don't think I'm going to deck myself out in full leather, but he does have this protection pad, and I think this is exactly what the comments were talking about. So it's good to have something covering your leg. Maybe a shard that's real sharp and you hit it wrong and it stabs straight into your leg. I could see that happening. This stuff is so brutal. Oh, that's so cool. I don't know how to judge if a piece is good to go. And here he's just got a leather pad and he's kind of just pressing into his hand. Very similar to what Pulitzer did. I wish it wasn't so sped up, but I guess it's a short. Now it's just putting in some notches. It's a different shape to what I want to do. But
there we go guys, one obsidian arrowhead. Hope you enjoyed your visit to the Earth Lodge.
yeah,
Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe for more content just like this.
I will be liking, following and subscribing to Will Lord, because that looks pretty cool. We'll check out his longer video. Hopefully he's got some actual details and explanations as to why he's doing what he's doing.
Hi there folks, I thought I'd better drop in and say hi to you. It's been a while since I've posted out on YouTube. Basically, I was on a bit of a journey, and obviously COVID stopped me travelling around. Now it's this point here that I'm interested in.
I don't know why he's interested in that.
Just try and set an angle up here and then get a flake off of there and create the arrowhead out of that. So I use a slightly smaller and slightly more pointed stone here.
Yeah, so he's hammer stoning for sure.
Come around that side, take that off.
So he just wants to get some of that crust off so he can get a good shot in that centre section that he wants.
And then we're creeping up a little bit closer to the back of that and hit it on the top.
Yeah, I really don't get it
there at the moment, look. So we'll Take a few more swipes.
That one looks pretty good.
And now, if you see that, it's fairly thin, but it's right at the back there. With a stone that's slightly more abrasive, like this one.
Oh, yep. So he's using that coarse stone.
Start sanding that, tilting it downwards, look, and strengthen that little bit of area up.
I'm not sure how it strengthens it.
People often ask why you do this. It's called abrading, but it's going to take a fair old whack in a second, and it needs to be strong enough to be able to hold itself together.
I'll have to look up the abrading thing.
So,
because it seems important.
Said deer antler, red deer antler hammer, holding it tightly on the side of the leg.
Yeah.
Slightly off to one side there. Yeah. And that's your luck. That collapsed. Anyway, let's go back in there, see if we can get it off.
So yeah, so sometimes it
Go
just
back
doesn't
to the
work
drawing
out.
board on that one. So sometimes it's better to
That
just
makes me a little bit worried because he's a pro and it still doesn't work 100% of the time. I guess rock just doesn't fracture as expected all the time. And he really does this full caveman style.
Right.
There's no copper tools in sight here. He's using antlers and stones all the way.
Spin out that lump. And then we've got something we can actually work with.
So like this kind of thing, I'd be worried about hitting the stone and shattering it. So I think I'll be a lot more careful and use some more of these modern tools, because I feel like I'm just not going to have any control with that antler like he does. He's practiced at this. I'm just going to take it real easy. I mean, he's got great advice. I can see why everyone thinks he's the best, because he is mega cool and he seems to know exactly what he's doing. And we'll have a look at what he gets out of this rock. See here, he's actually doing it
And he's set up
quite similar.
what's known as a platform.
So his platform is much like Pulitzer's, except he has not taken it to the grinding wheels at all. I'm probably going to just chuck it on the flat lap and just get a nice edge on both sides, and I'm going to fully shape it at that point and then try to get this edge.
And then what we do is we abrade that.
Alright, so abrading it again.
Let's make it strong again. And now the difficult bit comes. We've got to turn it over
And do it on the other side.
and we've got to try and push some meaty, decent sized flakes off. And they're heading out over the surface there. And what that does is it thins the whole thing out. And if you've got any bends in the flake from when it was cast off the lump, you can use this technique to straighten it all out.
Alright, so this is really cool. So he's doing it very much a similar way, and he has switched over to what looks like an antler with a copper little sneaky nail head in there. So it is very much similar. Very much similar. I think I've got an idea, but it's just going to take practice, I think. It's really cool. It's taken him, I don't know, less than 15 minutes to get from breaking apart that big rock to this pointy arrowhead. I wonder if I can get a better shot. I mean, like, he just needs to put in the notches, so we'll just jump ahead to where he's got the notches in there. And there we go. So he's done all of that in 15-20 minutes or so, and it does look cool. It's very much the difference between his and Pulitzer's that I can tell is that Pulitzer's is much more controlled shape, just because he preforms everything on the cabbing wheels, which it could be cheating, but I think the end result is what I'm really interested in. I would like to get good at doing it like fully free from using any kind of power tools or anything like that. But I am definitely, don't be too disappointed. When I'm starting out, I am definitely going to go with some more equipment. Like, I'll probably get the Dremel out and just maybe put these notches in just using the Dremel, because I would hate to finish an arrowhead like this and then go to put these notches in and it just splits straight up the middle. That would be absolutely heartbreaking. I don't think I'd be able to handle that. So at first I'm going to take real baby steps, mixing in kind of what I know and then what I'm learning step by step from people like Will Lord or Pulitzer Opal. And yeah, we'll go from there. I hope I hope that you guys have gotten something out of this. I know I definitely have. I've got a few more search terms to look at, especially this abrading thing. When you're getting that abrasive edge and just blunting it, I don't know how it makes it stronger. I guess maybe a flatter surface means that when the force hits, it doesn't just hit on that really sharp edge. You end up kind of evening it out, and maybe that causes a fracture. I'm not a geologist, so I'm not too sure on that. But if it works for him and he's the expert, I'm just not going to argue with it. I'm going to go with that and hope for the best. If anyone can explain it to me better in comments, then feel free to go ahead. But it does seem to be something that you kind of just get a feel for, and it's just always a good thing to do. It only takes a couple seconds to roughen up that edge, so I'm gonna go for it anyway. Pulitzer's given me the tools to be able to do it, so it must be important enough to do. I do feel like after going through the comments and going through a couple of these videos, I know exactly what each of these tools do now, which is a huge improvement. So literally, hammerstone for starting up that big slab, those slabs that Pulitzer sent, I'm going to have to smash with this until I get some nice shards. I can also do the same thing with these. This is for roughing up the edges. Both of these two are for that fine flaking and shaping. I might get another more pointy bladed tool than this copper one, like Pulitzer's steel one. It seems to work really good for cutting in those notches, but like I said, I might skip that and use the Dremel. And then these are just the pads to protect your hands. I still need to get a leather mat to go over my leg because it seems to work really well. Or just have it on the desk to catch everything, because yeah, that stuff, you don't want to step on it. You don't want it to go on the ground, you not see it and then step on it. I don't always wear shoes, though I probably should. So yeah, I don't want a sharp piece of obsidian or opal or flint or chert. All of these things will get sharp. It's just glass. And if you've ever stepped on glass, you know what it's like. So I'm going to avoid that. Yeah, I'm just really keen to get going. I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to fail a lot. I just watched a pro fail trying to get a nice piece out of a huge chunk. So I know I'm going to fail. I hope I can do a good job. I don't want to look too terrible at it if Pulitzer comes across. I know he's watched the first video. He'll probably watch this one as well. So I do want to try my best. I'll definitely take it really seriously, and I just want to get this thing nailed. It might take months, so you might not see straight away. You probably will see a failed attempt straight away, because I am going to start swinging some rocks this weekend. But you might have to wait a year before I get a good one. So there'll be a few videos before then, and I'll see you in those ones. Catch you guys.